have that hackathon. We had about 100,000 in prizes. Here are some of the partners that we worked with. They've been all amazing, super hands-on with us and the teams building. So we were able to get developers, new developers who are new to the ecosystem, start actually building these style of applications. And for Metaplex, it was core, which I'm sure you're hearing a lot about at this breakpoint. But it was actually really seamless, especially with the libraries that they provided, to provide some new experiences for our users. So the track one was NFT token minting. So this is like using Metaplex in some way to start minting NFTs on top of the platform. And I would say a lot of these applications that were built on it were very much social focused. I think one of them was like the ability to like roast somebody through AI, but actually mint out the whole experience and provide it to all the users. And so the winners for this was, the first place was the Pixel Arena by Cyborgs, 123, which was a super interesting canvas. Can't probably go into all the details about it, but it was like a Survivor.io clone, but with the ability of using the intersection of Metaplex's NFT core and the social graph to do it. You had a neon punk generator with art, which was super interesting, another way of mixing AI and actually minting them to the platform. You had Postify, you had who was in third place by El Zaki. That was another really interesting application that allowed you to actually start minting your post, but using the intersection of our API and on-chain data to actually do this. And here's all the other runner-ups. Dopamint was actually super interesting. There was Canvas GPT, DiskDAO, a lot of DAO tech was actually coming through this. If you guys don't know this, no one votes in DAOs, so like how do you actually improve that process? And as you can see, here's the rest of the winners. I'll go to the second track, the on-chain governance. So who votes, like who's in a DAO actually, and who actually participates? Like, I don't know if anybody actually, like how much time does that take you, right? You gotta go through all the forum posts, you gotta read all the back and forth between the community, go through the different proposals and edits to actually get the provenance of like, why is this being proposed and what is the possible outcomes and impact that this could possibly have. And so at the end of the day, you don't get a lot of people to participate because you need to be educated to do this and you need to feel confident that you can do it. So how do you alleviate these pain points with on-chain governance? And so we have the winners. Campaign Chain, really interesting take on actually intersecting social and voting through a canvas. The DAO proposal, so this person was really simplifying the process and they won second place. And finally, Votify was third place. And Votify was also another way of like, how do we actually vastly simplify, take all that information that's available and condense it with all the modern tools and technologies that we have through AI to basically make someone an informed voter. So super excited about these winners. Worked pretty much individually with each one of these and very highly motivated and super exciting to see them up here. And track 3 was DeFi and Commerce. We worked closely with Tweed and SpiderSwap to do this. So Tweed is like an end-to-end payment infrastructure. And so what they were able to do is provide an ability for people to actually transact more simply. And that's what we were talking about earlier, is like, how do you make transactions and engaging with protocols through wallets a lot easier? And I think Tweed has some really powerful solutions, especially within the commerce space, that if you're a developer or you're an application, you gotta check them out. And SpiderSwap was great to actually go in there and provide different types of mechanisms of leveraging their tools. So the winners of this was the meme coin tracker. I'm not too surprised, that was really exciting. I got a lot of reach. I think that was like 20, 30,000 views on that one alone. Purchase sold by credit card. This was by Cyborgs. Really interesting take on it. I mean, as you know, this process is, if you're purchasing things here at Breakpoint, it's a little bit challenging, right? It's not as easy as going from 0 to 1. And finally, someone created a new UI for SpiderSwap, but I do think that, it's at first you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But like the next iteration of Web3 consumer or this next iteration of a Web3 user, the UI that they're going to use to trade and swap tokens, I guarantee it looks nothing like what we're used to right now. This is super anecdotal, but like we actually asked our users what it would be like how would we improve slippage, or like how you set your slippage. And the first response was like, I would put my slippage at 100%. And you're like, oh, well, I guess that would guarantee a transaction, but like, you know, it may not be the right path. So you've got to really reinvent how people think about Web3, and I think a lot of these tools that they were able to put together really created a new lens of way to look through that. And track 4 was media and gaming. So this was also Metaplex, obviously using NFT Core and SpiderSwap heavily involved within this. So I think, you know, gaming and DeFi and tokens, they all come together. So I think this was actually a really interesting track. The big winners were Wordo. So this was like a word puzzle game, but it's highly collaborative. Really cool to see Elzuki to come back with multiple applications. Super creative developer. Lo-Fi Bug, another one, pretty fun application. Good to see them in second place. Third place was Solana Quiz. Really interesting developer. Really tries to engage with communities and create new ways to like actually help people understand Solana and Web3. And Watch to Earn by Relic DAO. You know, it's actually a really popular application. You're starting to see this use case become more and more popular through Web3, and so it was really cool to see these tracks come together like that. And finally, the Blinks track. Interesting, Checkmate won first place. That's a pretty big one. They put an incredible amount of work into it. Blinks auction, another great submission that came through. Super excited for these users and the fundraising link. I think that was another one that got quite a bit of traction on Discover, but it's really exciting to see these types of winners come together because they're really thinking about like, how do I get distribution for my project? But like on Discover, through our Canvas technology, Blinks are actually completely work. You can embed a blink on Discover, and because of the technology, it'll be able to house it. And so some of the other things that people were able to put together is we got Matrica to give 3 months for free. And as you guys know, Matrica is pretty expensive, especially for app developers. And Helios was able to put together 50% off of the first month. So if you're building, a lot of these builders were able to now like have a lot more powerful tools in their next application. Yeah, thank you. And I really want to thank all the people who really participated in this hackathon, as it was a way for people to introduce development to completely new types of consumer users. And that's what you experience on Discover. The typical user on Discover, this is their first Web3 experience, right? A lot of them come to us and they say, hey, I started on Web3 on Discover, but like, where do I go next? And a lot of them just want us to continue to house those experiences directly within our platform. So that's why this Canvas hackathon was really important to us, is because how do we take this next generation of Web3 users and actually water the experience down enough to make it palatable? And like, you're all in this room, you're all probably Web3 users, you're all probably well experienced with pretty much anything you want to do with this from a Web3 perspective. But like, the modern users are not gonna care. They want the experience to be simplified. And I know the easy answer to these things is, you know, you're gonna abstract away blockchain so that like it doesn't exist and the user's not aware. But the reality is I think that's forever away. I think we'll continue to invent new infrastructure for blockchain, whether or not it abstracts away the experience. That doesn't matter. I think it's really a UI UX problem. I do think a lot of the infrastructure is already there to provide those seamless experiences for users. And if you're a Drip user, you know that. You're experiencing that firsthand, that you don't necessarily, the infrastructure might already be there to create a less friction process. So I think for the next generation of these Web3 developers, which we're able to hopefully cater towards through Canvas, are able to create integrations into the existing infrastructure to drastically reduce the amount of friction that a user may experience. So super exciting, and also, again, super thankful for Drip and all the help that they've provided. Cool, thank you.